What is up, everyone? Welcome to a special Masters edition of Two Off the Tee on Fantasy Six Pack. I am joined, as always, by my new co-host. We're getting into a groove. My good buddy Ryan Mulvey, who is host of the Inside Drive on ESPN Northwest Florida. That's 104.3 Monday through Friday, 11 to 1 Central. Right, Ryan?
Man, you got that nailed now. I'm impressed. Say that you got it exactly right. It's also 101.9 in Port St. Joe as well, but a lot of other people may not know where Port St. Joe is, pretty close to the Apalachicola area. I'm sure Bud is very familiar.
Port St. Joe, Florida is where I ended my high school baseball career.
Ah, nice. Against the
in the regional semifinals against the local high school. The field smelled like shit because the paper mill nearby. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Absolutely. The paper mill's actually not open anymore, which is crazy.
I didn't want to come in here throwing shade at North Florida right off the rip. I am a panhandle kid myself. Big Bubba from Baghdad fan as well.
Yes.
So it's good to be on the show. Thank you, gentlemen, for letting us riff-raff hang out with you after you graced us with your presence earlier this evening. It's going to be a fun time talking about the Masters.
Absolutely. So the other gentleman joining us this evening, I met them last year. We did it was a Sunday Masters deal, I think, that we did last year, right?
We were live at a casino last year on Sunday, and you joined us.
Oh, that's right. The noise was insane.
My mic was all messed up, and I couldn't hear anybody. No one could hear me. It was a disaster. But you know what?
I had a blast. So I got to know the guys there. They have a great show, Divots and Pivots. And you can find that on Twitter/X at Divots and Pivots, all out. But Andrew Leduc, is that right?
You got it. We didn't need Ryan for that one.
Bud Copeland. These are my guys. I love their vibe because, like me and Ryan, they're more about just having fun, talking golf, obviously providing as much good information as possible. But at the same time, too many of them sound like a math class some days. I know the irony in this coming from a stat nerd like myself, but that does not mean you can't talk about golf just like normal people, which is what we try to do here. And I'm proud to say these guys do that as well. We had a blast on their show. Literally just finished that up. You can find, what is y'all's YouTube channel?
It's Divots. So if we're trying to grow our individual show YouTube channel, so it's Divots and Pivots, and it's like 511 like something like that. But you should be able to find us at Divots and Pivots 511.
Well, you can check that out, obviously, at any time. I recommend you do so. We talked about some wild stuff, including what we'd want for our Masters dinner. It was a good time by all. I want to kind of start here because I haven't heard a lot of this kind of discussion, but one of my favorite things about Masters Week is the storylines, like leading into it, and what the biggest ones are. For me, it is undoubtedly Scottie Scheffler trying to become the first golfer since the GOAT, Tiger Woods, in 2002 to win back-to-back Masters championships. It's only happened 4 times, or excuse me, it would be 4 times in the history of Augusta if he accomplished this. Nick Faldo, Tiger, and of course Jack, the other GOAT, are the 3 guys that have done it. And I think that if Scheffler does get it done, especially now in a time that I would argue is the hardest in the history of golf, to win these big events and to win at Augusta National, because it's such a difficult venue now, especially when you consider that Scheffler's 10th place finish the year after he won his first Masters championship is the best finish by a defending champion in the last decade. So not only, obviously, has nobody gone back to back, you're not even seeing guys put together, back-to-back top 5s anymore. So this is such a huge opportunity for Scheffler. And I've been saying for a while, he is, flying pretty close to the Tiger's son in the terms of ball striking. And for me, the big deal is he's putting so much better. I know 42nd strokes game putting doesn't seem like that's that impressive, but if we remember last year and the way he putted until Rory McIlroy, for reasons only Rory understands, decided to help him with his putting. I mean, why would you tell him, hey, this putter, I think it'd be great for you? What an idiot. I think Scheffler has a great chance to win this week. He should be the heavy favorite. And again, we're talking about rarefied history. It's been, over 20 years since somebody's done it, and he would only be the fourth person in the history of this great event to accomplish that. So that is mine. Since it's this Bud's for you, and you're the captain of morale on Pivots and Divots. Why don't we go with you, Bud? What you got?
Honestly, I want to see who's gonna come out of the woodwork and win this thing, because I don't think it's gonna be Rory, and I don't think it's gonna be Scotty, and here's why. I know I'm contrary to what things have been said. People say things. I might have been one of those people, but Keith Stewart PGA Pro. If you find him online, I think it's KJ Stewart PGA. He put out an interesting tidbit. I'm not going to call it a stat, but it is one of those things. I believe in stats, but I also believe in, like I said, reading the tea leaves, a little bit of chicken bones. Golf is such a game of feel and splicing hairs that only one player has won 3 green jackets in 4 years, and that was Jack back in the 60s. So while Scotty's trying to go back to back, and I know that's what we're watching, the bigger picture is that, like, he's trying to do something really fucking big. 3 and 4 years, that kind of stretch. And then also, only of the guys who have gotten the career Grand Slam, they all did it in a short period of time. They all did it, I think it was like 3 or 4 year window where they were able to gobble them up, get her done. And that's why that kind of Jordan Spieth just lingering there. Mm-hmm. And, Rory just lingering there. I do think that they're just going to continue to linger there, because history tells us how special you have to be in what short period of time to get her done. And so for me, honestly, I'm really just kind of eager to see who's going to be coming out of the woodwork to win it. And is it going to be a first-time champ? I think so. I think we're gonna have a first time Augusta winner. Maybe not major winner, but
hello, Sepp and Russell Henley. Do you guys know how long it's been since somebody has completed the career Grand Slam at Augusta? Because it has been a long time. I saw this stat today, but I appreciate you coming up with that one, because I was trying to figure out how many guys had won 3 green jackets in 4 years, and also what Xander could accomplish of just winning 3 majors and 4, basically a calendar year of majors, and struggled finding any comprehensive list. But it's been 90 years since any player has completed the career Grand Slam at Augusta National. And I believe it's like the last 4 to complete the Grand Slam all did it at the Open. So, which makes sense, because I think they were all American players. Ryan, what is your storyline that you're looking forward to, or you think is the biggest this week?
I was going to take the low-hanging fruit and say if Rory can win the career Grand Slam and get the Augusta monkey off his back, but I'm not going to take the low-hanging fruit. I'm going to go with what Hurricane Helene did to the greater Augusta area last fall, and that was knock out quite a few trees there at Augusta National. I was there one year when a tornado went through on a Monday night, and the next day the golf course was perfectly fine. Our golf course wasn't, but somehow Augusta's got all the little gnomes that come out of the trees and put trees back up and clean up everything. But there's going to be a lot of different lines of sights, a lot of trees left of 10 are gone now. Number 2, there's some different looks you're going to have on there. So I think, these guys have been playing Augusta for a long time and have these specific lines and different things. I think the loss of trees is definitely going to play a factor in some of the stuff going on this week at Augusta.
Have not thought about that. Love that right there. Andrew, what about you?
Yeah, so as much as I can say Scotty Scheffler winning it again would be cool, boring. As much as I love the idea of Rory McIlroy completing the career Grand Slam, less boring, but boring. What I want to see is I want to see a good old comeback story. I want to see the comeback story of Jordan Spieth. I want to see him return to favor at Augusta National. He's playing some of the best golf he's played in the last few years, and this just starting to feel like a magical week where Jordan Spieth can do something special and kind of exercise those demons that haunted him. We went for a back-to-back and had to hand over the jacket to Danny Willett that year after absolutely choking. So I want to see Jordan Spieth at least being in contention. I want to see him win it, but I'm going to be happy if on Sunday I'm cheering for Jordan Spieth down the stretch in the mix.
I think that would be insane and pretty awesome, because I think it's hard to forget like where Spieth was at. Like he had an
Mhm.
opportunity to just absolutely grab the game of golf by the throat.
5 rounds in a
And
row he led at the Masters. Like that's
just
unheard of.
gagged it. I mean, an absolute, like it was so shocking to me, because it was one thing for the first ball to go in the water. That happens. But then to lay the sod on the second, to where a guy that had just won,
Mhm.
you know what, 2 majors the previous year, I think it competed, if I remember, in all 4.
Oh, yeah.
You know, has a tournament and a course that he's dominated kind of wrapped up, and he just kind of threw up all over himself. So, I mean, it does happen. It would be very interesting. I think JT in a lot of ways would be the same story. I know he's had a lot more success in recent years than Spieth has, but you know, I think JT has a higher ceiling for their careers moving forward, and he's kind of like Rory to me. He's in that boat where if he could win a major, right, like win another one, get his confidence back, you know, look out. Because I've been saying for a while now, Rory just needs to get that next major, and I'm pretty confident he'd win 2-3 more. But I can't guarantee he's going to get the next major, because I think so much of it right now is in his head. We didn't mention any of the live stuff. Does any of that stuff even matter to you guys anymore?
Not really anymore. I feel like it's live. We know what live is. And the only thing we kind of view live, at least in my eyes, the way we view live now is that we just don't have as much stats on them. So it's more eye test and it's more history test, that we just know that Bryson can still hang, even though he's doing his own thing over there on YouTube and on live. We still know Brooks can hang in majors because of the same reasons. He just keeps showing up when he has the chance. The only real live story that is compelling to me is the Joaquin Niemann story, because of the success he's had on live, but not just live, the success he's had internationally as well. I'm curious to see if it carries through at Augusta this year, because I think
it's we have a top 20 from him in a major before everybody keeps anointing him, because that's the one thing that annoys me is I keep hearing this and I'm like, he didn't have a top 20, I don't think, in a major yet.
But that's why
he's made the cut at Augusta ever since he started making the cut
that's
at Augusta.
Fair.
Yeah, so I mean, and as far as the live stuff's concerned, anybody, like Andrew's saying, anybody who we give a shit about from the live world cut their teeth and got their bona fides from the PGA Tour universe. So we have a frame of reference, even if John Rahm is officially 55th in the official world, whatever it is in the world golf rankings.
Yeah,
we know where he ranks in, you know, but those are the exceptions, not the rules. So I don't know. I mean, live would love to make a big deal of it, but I don't think it's going to be anything more than what it is. Really, I think sneakily the biggest story of the week that nobody brought up, shockingly, the introduction of the savory tomato pie to the concessions at Augusta National. Augusta National and the Masters specifically. I mean, going back to their shit from like the 70s, where they're like, good golf and good food go hand in hand here at Augusta. Like, they're very proud of that, and they froze the prices since I think 0203, something like that. But this is a big deal. They're introducing, something new, and I guess a local tried it out and quoted in the Augusta Chronicle saying it's kind of like a hot pocket. And then
you would end up dead, though, if you had something bad to say and you lived in the Augusta area. It's the media about Augusta National, I'm pretty sure. Like, you just turn up missing. Because the peach ice cream, right, was the last thing I think that they
that was a COVID casualty too. They had to get rid of it because of supply
I didn't know that, because I haven't been now in a few years.
Which is such BS. So good.
God, that was the best. I'm not even a big fan.
It's such a rare ice cream flavor too.
Yeah,
it is. It is.
Rare.
They probably own the trademark to it, so
yeah,
you can't reproduce it.
The fact that they have to label it savory tomato pie makes me think they're trying, or they know that they've got a bag of dog shit.
That's a very fair point.
I just never heard tomato and pie used in the same sentence.
Yeah, just call it
it sounds very Italian to me. Like, it does make sense, but Bud makes a great point about the savory thing. I totally agree. When you add adjectives, something's wrong.
Don't read any of my writing then. So let's talk about the course a little. Augusta National, ever heard of it? Just, again, I think the most amazing place on earth, best golf course in the world, known for the towering Georgia pines, which obviously Ryan made a good point. There is less of them, dramatic elevations, steep runoffs, the crosswinds, which it doesn't look like that's going to be as big of an issue. The weather right now looks absolutely perfect.
Yeah, these guys are getting all light.
Calm wind. Yeah, calm winds, like, not too hot, not too cold. To me, what's insane is despite having the second widest fairways, third fewest bunkers, minimal rough, and just 4 holes with water in play, quote unquote, water danger hole. Augusta still ranks as one of the toughest courses on tour, at least the annual ones. Over the last 4 years, average score is plus 1.47 over par. That is the 4th hardest on tour. We know a big reason for that is obviously the greens. You know, you miss it in the wrong spot. Good luck. The fact that it's almost 7,600 freaking yards, which I don't think that's talked about enough. And it's played so much different since they lengthened those 3 par 5s and the par 4 11th, where they turned 3 par 5s that for everybody used to be reachable in 2 and really good eagle opportunities, to where now you not only have to have distance, you have to hit an accurate tee shot on those holes to really have a chance to make a 3. And then the 11th has just become one of the toughest, par 4s on the planet. The keys to success at Augusta: experience. I mean, Fuzzy Zeller was the last one to win the tournament in his debut. That's now all the way back to 1979. Since then, only 5 players in the last decade have finished top 10 in their first trip to Augusta. That number was 4 before Ludwig Oberg last year. To me, iron play is so essential. About 75% of the approaches are going to be from 150 yards or further. This is not a pitch and putt by any means. The par 5 scoring, we saw this with Tiger Woods from 97 to 2011. He won 4 green jackets and had 7 top 5 finishes. A big reason for those 14 years, he was 125 under par on the par 5s. No surprise, Scotty Scheffler last year in double digits on the par 5s, 10 under. And also in his first victory here 2 years ago, John Rahm led the field in par 5 scoring. He finished first. Brooks Koepka was second in the field in par 5 second. We know he was runner up. It's such a big deal. And then some recent winter trends, and then anything you guys want to add. We've got 10 straight champions. We're ranked inside the top 30 in the official world golf ranking. 8 of the last 10 inside the top 20. We've got 8 of 10 had played at least 3 Masters before the one that they won. 7 of 10 had at least 1 top 5 or better finish at Augusta National. 7 of 10 had a win already that season heading into the winter, into that Masters. 9 of the last 10 winners had a top 6 finish at the major in the previous 2 seasons, or 8 majors, however you want to say it. 8 of the last 10 winners previously finished the week at Augusta in one of the following categories: top 12 in green and regulation percentage, top 20 in scrambling, top 20 in driving distance, and top 10 in ball striking. The last 7 all ranked top 25 in strokes gained tee to green that season entering the tournament, and 7 of 7 top 50 in both strokes gained approach and strokes gained around the greens. Anything you guys really want to hammer home that you're looking into this week, or, what you think is the most important thing when trying to kind of get your bets and DFS plays put together?
Yeah, I think it's hard. What makes Augusta hard, I think, is you mentioned how even though the widest fairways and it's still the 4th hardest course, you can hit the fairway and you can still have missed your shot because of the angles, because of the trees, because of the contours of the greens and whatnot. You can hit 18 fairways or whatever. You factor in the par 3s, do the math for me. I don't care. You can hit the fairways and you can still be in the miss and have to lay up or have to play a shot that you're not comfortable with. And unfortunately, we don't really have a stat that says fairway misses and makes it make sense. So you got to piece together, like you're saying, all these other stats. This is one of those tournaments where I typically, for any regular run-of-the-mill tournament when it comes to DFS, I'll run 5 key stats or so to kind of make up and fill in the blanks here on the unknowns when it comes to stats at Augusta. I typically kind of push it to 7 because you just got to make the picture make sense. And unfortunately, off the tee there, it's so hard because the stats on the face can be so misleading.
And again, this is the most predictive annual course on the PGA Tour. And what that means, if you don't understand, is just guys that play well there have repeat success. So you can look at their course history and key stats and know that these key stats and obviously their previous finishes there, they hold up year after year after year after year.
I have zero analytics when it comes to picking this kind of stuff. I have 3 broad strokes that I come to with when I come to the Fantasy National. Shout out to the Moose and the boys at Fantasy National for letting us peek in their brain every week. Strokes gained, ball striking, tee to green, and putting. And that's kind of my key 3 that I go from there. And then I start drawing other, inferences and stuff. Like you said, I don't care if you're number 1 in my model. If it's your first time at Augusta National, I'm not betting you to win.
Right.
Might not even bet you to make the cut because it's pretty rare for anybody to come out there first time and get around 2 rounds and be in the top. What is it? 30, 40 in ties?
Top 50.
Top 50 in ties. There's this weird thing that I saw floating around social media, though, that I'm going to start doing a deeper dive into before I lock in any bets, that these golfers who won in their 8th time at Augusta National, not saying it was their first win, but I guess like Ben Hogan, Jack Nicklaus, Tom Watson, Tiger Woods, and Jordan Spieth all won in their 8th year at the Masters, or their
pretty decent list.
Master. Yeah. So I'm just thinking to myself, I just checked to see if Bryson, but I think Bryson last year was his 8th. So I think that window closed. It's like the 27 club in pop culture. I think that's what we're getting at here. But no, there's a reason that we don't usually get shocked at Augusta National. There's a reason why we're like, oh, it makes sense. It was Seve's birthday and John Rahm is the best player in the world. Scotty Scheffler, look at the way things are going. I think Danny Willett might have been the real last kind of like,
and that was a gift, as we all know.
Yeah, that's my point. And so like it's not going to be a surprise. I think it's just going to be which storyline is going to rise to the top. I still think it's going to be Rory. I still think we're going to get this mystical. He's going to break all the trends because, records and streaks are meant to be broken. See, the great 8 with Mr. Ovechkin. But Rory's going to get her done this week, and that's going to be the story that's going to make us all tear up on Sunday when Poppy comes running out onto the, after the 18th, jumps into his arms. And here it is. Here's the Zodiac connection. He was at a press conference this week, and his daughter just figured out that he's famous. He's talking about somebody goes,
how old is she?
She's like 4 or 5. I think she's 5. Because she's
got to be a mind fuck for those kids to realize like who their parents are. Seriously,
he said it was after the Players Championship. She came home from school or daycare or wherever. He said school. I think she's like 5 or 6 because my daughter's roughly the same age. And she said, Daddy, are you famous? Because I guess some kids at school were like talking about the players. And he said, and they go, how'd that feel? He goes, in that big ass beautiful media center they have at Augusta National. He goes, it's kind of cool. And then terrifying, and I'm like, it must be. I mean, I can, as parents, we're all, we all know you're wearing your heart outside of your body at that point, and one safety mechanism, that anonymity just fell away. And I don't know, man. Maybe he's like, maybe that's it too. It's like, you're damn right. It's kind of like with Charlie being able to go hug dad and having Sam there and kind of, that whatever they freaking need to get him over the edge, even if it is a fill-in caddy with Justin Timberlake, JT, and Justin Thomas.
That'd be pretty cool. JT and JT.
JT's not bad. He gets it around there.
He would make a fine caddy.
He's got a solid game. He's a little too wristy for my liking. It's kind of like him and Peyton Manning. They both have this thing going, but I'm not a teaching pro, so I won't go there.
I don't ever want to root for Peyton Manning. Go Dogs.
Nope. Go Patriots. Fuck Peyton Manning.
Ryan, what are you looking into this week?
Well, first I was gonna give Bud some kudos there for using Poppy and JT, who was the lead role in Trolls, and Poppy was the
there's somebody with multiple children.
So
right
impressive stuff there, Bud. Way to bring Trolls into the.
My daughter's 4.5.
Yeah,
great movie.
Yeah, it's fantastic. The soundtrack's wonderful.
It is.
Obviously
it slaps. It slaps.
How is it after you've listened to it 7,000 times?
It doesn't. It doesn't get worse. I could listen to that soundtrack over and over again.
All right, challenge accepted.
Yeah, no, make it happen. Apple Music's got them all. You're good to go. You're good to go. No, but I mean, just kind of echoing what you guys said. There's a reason why there's only one player in the world that fits all of the 2025 Masters winter trends, and that's Rory McIlroy, because it matters. It's a place now. Is it in his mind that he can't win there? I guess we'll find out. But I really like what you were saying there, Bud, about having something kind of outside of the world of golf to kind of be that thing you hang on. And sometimes your kids can certainly be that. We've seen that with some other players. Some players have gotten better after they've had kids. Some players have gotten worse, and marriage rolls into that same thing as well. But
can he get off to a good start though, Ryan? Because
that's the thing. He always plays great on Sundays. He's
Yep.
just got to start Thursday or Friday. Now, last year obviously was nuts because the wind was blowing like 40
Who's he
miles
paired
an hour.
with, by the way? Does anybody
Ooh,
know?
Good
It's
question.
saucy.
The Masters is unrivaled in making pairings. They make the
who's
best
he paired with, you
threesomes
said?
consistently. Yeah.
When I know too, I think you might have sent it to me, Keith, that Cantlay is ahead of Brooks, but there was the
Yeah, they gave him a
17-minute gap.
22-minute
Yeah.
head start.
They do that. They do that every 6 or 7 tee times over there.
Yeah, no,
They're going,
they
look, we're
placed
going to put
Cantlay
Koepka
perfectly
behind
for
him.
that.
I don't want to hear his bitching. Look, we'll make them the one group that gets the gap because they're
Yeah.
doing split tees, right?
Ooh, what a great group. McIlroy, Ober, and Beate.
Oh yeah,
Holy
love
smoke.
that.
Watch
Akshay,
Beate go out and
Wait, hold
smoke 'em.
on. Did you say Beate? I've never heard the last. Is that
Akshay
correct?
Beate.
Beate?
That's how I say it.
I think
That's
it's
why Ryan's
Batia.
confused.
It's
I think it's
Akshay
actually-
Batia, but from now on it's going to be Ate.
No, I
I
say Beate.
It's the
That's
first
where
word
I
for
got it
Beate.
from. No, it's definitely Batia.
Batia.
No,
That's
it's
how they
Beate.
pronounce it.
It is
I
All right.
Beate.
All right, Keith. We'll go with Morikawa too.
All right.
While
That's
we're
fine.
at
I'm country. What the fuck you
Morikawa
want me to do,
sucking.
Ryan?
it. An A is different than an I, but that's okay. That's
It doesn't
neither here
matter.
nor
I
a
can
little
there.
screw up any name. It's pretty
Yeah,
easy.
Yeah,
That's
no,
going to be, and to speaking to the Rory effect, that's probably going to be a good pairing for him
Yeah.
because he's going to feel like he's, first of all, Ludwig is Ludwig, and it's going to be like, all right, young buck, like you think you're going to come out here and blah blah blah
Like,
blah
you
blah.
can
And
move it.
Akshay was, a couple of 4-footers away from being in a playoff at the Players.
Dude is
And
such
so-
a stud. He's like
it-
only 23 too. He's so good.
Turned pro at 17. He
Yep.
had to rent a U-Haul on the Corn Ferry Tour for a couple weeks because he couldn't
Unbelievable.
get a rental car. He won the Augusta National drive, chip, and putt when he was a kid. So
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he
That's
was
awesome.
the first player to ever win the drive, chip, and putt, and also compete in the
That's
Masters. He wore
amazing.
that badge of honor.
That is
Bud
so
is a
cool.
massive Akshay fanboy over
I've
there.
been fanboying
I am
on him for
too.
a while. He's
Huge fan.
He's a good story. So I think that bodes well for him that he's got that kind of that's a kind of a gift of a pairing.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's crazy
kind
what
of
they-
one of his
Right? Like,
Ryder
that's
Cup
three
buddies
guys
too,
that
right?
should all play
Mhm.
well and can feed off each other, I think.
Well, what's
Yeah.
crazy about that group though is that out of that group, I feel like Ludwig is going to be the one that pushes them. Like Ludwig will make Rory better because I think
100%.
Rory's going to feel challenged by the young buck who's going to go out there fearless and do what he
He's
did
just
last
a
year.
robot.
And Akshay's going to try to keep pace and play his game, but Rory's going to benefit from having a guy like Ludwig in his group.
I think though Rory gets in trouble sometimes when he gets too aggressive on Augusta National, and that is my biggest fear with Oberg. Because I agree with you that he's going to come out there going, "Look, I dominated this course in my first trip." His ball striking numbers last year at Augusta were out of this world. And if you don't hit it to that level and you're still taking the lines and stuff that he was,
Right.
both off the tee and into the greens, he's going to find out real quick Augusta, it can be a real bitch. And like that's my biggest concern with him, because I think that he's one of those guys in that group that, like, it wouldn't surprise me if he's in contention to win. And it really would not surprise me at all if he misses the cut, because I don't think he really truly experienced Augusta last year with how
He did
well
on
he
11,
ball.
that's for sure.
Well, that's
Right.
fair. That's
Yeah.
fair.
See, but I feel
Oh.
like Rory's at that stage of his career where he's learned enough now to where I'd say even just like 2 years ago, he would have tried to match aggression with aggression. I feel like Rory in the last 2 years has grown and learned so much as a golfer that he knows where he can and can't take those chances to match somebody. So I don't
Mastered the risk reward part of this game.
exactly. That's where I
Yeah.
think he's grown to that point to where it just might be time to where he's done enough to master the Masters.
I hope that's the case. I've turned completely around on Rory. As a Tiger fan, like, I hated Rory just because that's the way it is, right?
You
Like,
wanted
you
it
don't
to be
like the
Tiger
next
every year,
guy.
no matter
Now I
what.
know why my dad, as a Jack guy, hated Tiger. Like, I understood it when Rory won those 4 majors in a hurry. It's like, whoa, don't be stepping on my guy's corner.
Exactly.
But I really have a ton of respect for Rory. And if anybody has earned a major with the way that, he just stood up for the PGA Tour and really got screwed more than
Yeah, thrown under
anybody
the
else
bus,
in this
yeah,
deal.
absolutely.
And, was really a punching bag because of it. It's him. So I think it would be a really cool moment. Did you see the video of him and Jay Moran, as I like to call him,
Moynihan.
in the players' locker room, where it looks so awkward, where it's like Rory I got the vibe he does not like the guy, which would you,
Well, I think
with
he
kind of the
drank the
way he left
Kool-
him out to dry? Yeah.
Yeah, he drank the Kool-Aid with Jay early on in the whole ordeal, and then, like you're saying, he kind of learned and came to realize, like, oh, like he's using me as a shield, and it's time for me to separate myself from the situation. He made his statements where he kind of backtracked, and then he stepped back, and he kind of forced Jay to have to take some of the heat himself. So yeah, I'm sure there's some tension there.
And
of course,
rightfully so.
He sheds that. He
Absolutely.
decides to not get divorced, stick with his family, go
Yep.
about his business, and all of a sudden he's back. There's gonna be another sneaky little thing to keep an eye on. Is I think this year, I think we might have a marker. I think Michael McDermott might have to be teeing it up in the first 2 rounds. I don't know. Do they send
Wow.
do they send a marker out even if it's the first 2 rounds, or do they only do it on the weekend? Because there's 95 players, and I'm looking at 7:40 a.m.
You would
tee time.
think
We
it
got
would be
Davis,
unfair
Riley,
to
and
send
Pat
it to
Kazire.
some, right?
Right. I think you have to. So with Michael McDermott, it was Jeff Knox for God knows how
Jeff
many
Knox
years.
has been, he did it
What a gig.
forever.
I mean, you want to talk about the best like you're a
I know,
professional
right?
gig? Like,
Guy's a
you need me at
stud, too.
Augusta? Yeah.
He's a fucking
Yeah,
stick.
I'll
He
show
won
up.
all the amateur events around
Hasn't he
that
beat
area.
some of the guys
Yeah.
like before?
Yep.
I
He's
think-
a stick. He's like a +3.
You can totally, if you're in that position, you can accidentally just fall yourself into at least beating a few guys. Like, how can you
I
not? It's
could,
golf.
but I
It's
mean,
golf.
yeah, like
Yeah, Jeff Knox won the Crump Cup, the Pine Valley,
wow.
tournament.
Yep.
I mean, like he's
Yep.
he's a stud. And you go back, and I read an article last year or 2 years ago. Maybe it was in his final year of being the marker, which I think was 22. And they were looking back over the years, and I think like he really hung in there with some pretty big names in those final rounds because they don't officially keep his score.
Right.
Well, let's be honest, they keep his score. So
Oh,
look out,
100%.
look,
Keep
yeah,
for
look
those
out-
ESPN
more
guys,
importantly.
are great. They'll go, he shot a 33 on the front side.
that's the gig right there.
Let's do some DFS plays, and then we can spend a ton of time on bets. This is my disclaimer that I give every week, and I'm sorry, but I just can't stress this enough. If you truly want to win money, like I like DK, single entries, cash game lineups, that's it. Don't do these fucking minefields. Now, if you got the bankroll to do 150 entries, have at it. But you're still dealing against guys with spreadsheets, and trust me, their structure is much better than yours. But especially if you're just playing a few lineups in these monster ones, it's like playing the freaking lottery. That's literally what you're doing. This week, I've got a few $100 single entries, $33. I like the smaller fields, like 555 people, 277, the 1100 ones. And then we were talking about a little bit on your guys' show. You don't have to worry about ownership then. If you really trust a guy, as long as you're right, you're good. It doesn't matter what their ownership is. Just differentiate with a few of your other plays. That's where the key is having at least a couple of guys under 10%. And to be honest, you don't even have to do that. That's just if you want to have a legit chance to win it. You obviously don't want to share lineups with a lot of people. Real quickly, want to give a shout out. This is when you guys bring the viewership. Joe Bond, the owner, CEO of Fantasy Six Pack, not even really a golf fan. He's listening.
Up,
So
Joe.
that's just the Divots and Pivots guys. Also, Evan, what's up? Love this, man. He, gave just Bud a shout out on the last show, but love seeing him here now. You're a good man, Evan. You just made a fan for life. But for the DFS plays, I need to do a little quick promotional plug for me. I have been doing now for about a month DFS and betting card cheat sheets on Fantasy Six Pack for you nerds that love to read all my stats and everything. Don't worry, the course preview is still there. That has all the nerd information you want. But these cheat sheets are literally just like for the DFS. I have 6 horses for courses, which are guys that have great track record at that venue, guys that I consider the best values, and guys under 7K or some weeks at 7,500 if I just hate the guys in the 6K range. But there's very little explanation. It's basically just the picks, how much they cost, and then there's a little bit of information in the notes. Same thing for the betting card where I give my plays to win, top 5, top 10, top 20 plays, and then small notes. And then again, we'll be here on, Tuesday nights going into detail. You can see me on Ryan's show on Wednesday, talking in detail, but just a lot of people just want the place. And I'm trying to accommodate that and make it easy for people. But for me this week, experience is the biggest factor. Like, I love the guys in the kind of 95, 9,600 to like 7,100 range, like love them. But it's hard to not have at least one of the Scheffler, Colin, Rahm, Xander group there that are all 9,700 or more, because they're arguably the best players in the world right now. And then on top of that, they have elite history at this event. The other guys I included in that would be Will Zalatoris and Corey Connors. Let's just start with kind of like our most cap guys for me. For me, it is Sepp Straka, Patrick Reed, Cam Smith, and Scotty Scheffler. I think Cam is the live guy that is not getting enough attention. I can't believe he's 8,200. He has as good of a track record at this venue as any of the non-winners, like someone who hasn't actually already won a green jacket. We know he's already won a major. And the big thing for me is just he has the best hands in golf. Like, he's so good on the greens and around them. And that is, similar to what I was saying about Patrick Reed. I trust him so much because if he has a really good, week with the driver, Reed, it's the irons. Like, I would be shocked if Cam Smith is not in contention. And his short game is so good. I think, and he makes so few bogeys, I think he can survive even if he doesn't have a great week off the tee or on approach and just has an average one. So I love those guys. And because, again, you're using kind of guys, those are, Straka 7,600, Cam's 8,200, Reed 7,300. I can throw Scheffler in there even at 12,400 and still have a good bit of salary to move on. Granted, a lot of guys that I like this week, but that's kind of the core four that I have in most of my lineups. Again, I'm doing single entry cash game lineups. So the main thing I'm looking with my top four guys is, do I think they're going to make the cut? And the answer for me is absolutely yes for those four, for a combination of both, obviously, like with Reed, Cam, Scheffler, their ability to scramble and just, get around Augusta. And then Straka, I think he's so undervalued at 7,600, and he hasn't missed a cut in 3 career starts here. And this is by far the best golf of his career. Like, it's not even close. Ryan, who's kind of your core guys this week? Who's like your favorite guys that are in the most lineups right now?
I got to ask a question to you fine gentlemen first before I dive into that. You mentioned John Rahm. Is anybody think he's got a legitimate shot to actually win this week, or has he got so much buyer's remorse that it's clouding his better judgment? Because
John Rahm,
he lives for this. Like, this is what he misses.
Intended. Nice, Keith. Nice.
Don't you? I got that, but I'm serious. Like, don't you think, Bud, that this is what all the rumors and what you're hearing is he's frustrated about the format and not getting that week-to-week competition as the best players in the world. That's what he's going to get this week. And that is a competitive mofo who I think that, I think that, Rahm, if he has his A or B game, he's going to be in contention and has a great chance to win. Now, obviously he cannot play well. That happens. But I like the fact, actually, that he didn't play great last year as a defending champ. But we were talking about this earlier, Ryan, that it's really difficult to do, whether that's because of all the responsibilities and stuff of the, the defending champ or whatever. But I absolutely think his A game, especially at Augusta, where he hit that giant high cut everywhere off the tee, he has an absolute good chance of winning it. He's not one of my favorite bets or anything, or guys I'm using with DK, but it would not shock me at all if he won the tournament.
I also didn't realize that Siwoo Kim was not playing in the Masters, and I'm pretty upset about that. But that's
okay. I know. I saw that too.
To your point, Keith, John Rahm, since he went to live, and I just saw this stat: 17 of 18 top 10s, including 2 wins. He's sharp. He's there. I mean, and so I do think that it's not outside the realm of possibility. I'm not going to be laying him on in any of my lineups because I'm going to try to keep away from the double-digit guys.
Yep.
I think since you called on me next, thanks. I think if I'm gonna anchor anybody up top, it's gonna be with Xander Schauffele sitting there at 9,700.
Real value.
Is he still 97?
Yep.
Yeah. So Xander at 9,700, and we were just talking about how these guys gobble up majors in bunches. And if you remove Scotty Scheffler from the equation last year, we're sitting there talking. We're not talking about who's the player of the year. We're giving it to Xander, but we're saying Rory won 5 times around the world, and Xander,
Right.
just barely got him. He got those 2 majors in, and then Scotty just runs through it. So Xander, I still think the soft tissue injuries, those kind of worry me, especially with these guys, the motions they have to make. If he tweaks something, it's not exactly the quickest thing that they just overnight kind of heals up. But if he's in shape, I think X going to give it to you. I also love the Patrick Reed play as much as I hate the Patrick Reed choker. You can't deny him in Augusta National. You can't, the proof's in the pudding. He plays good golf when he's in Augusta, Georgia. What can we say? So I genuinely love that Patrick Reed play. And then last but certainly not least, it's taking the cheese out there. I was going to say Brooks Koepka, but instead Joaquin Niemann. And that's my third, because whichever one you were talking about it earlier, you got to make the cut around here. And he's made the cut the last 4 years in a row. One of those was, I think, a 16th finish for 16th. So Joaquin Niemann's going to make the cut. I wouldn't be surprised if he makes a run at it. This is going to be his, I think, fifth or sixth or seventh Masters. And you need to be familiar around this place, because Andrew talked about it earlier. The course itself isn't going to really beat you up, hitting it left, hitting it right. But these fucking greens, man. It's there's a reason why. There's a reason why, if you can get one of the good old boys in the bag, one of those old school caddies named Willie, if he's on the bag, and he's going to tell you exactly which blade of grass to roll it over, and that's all you got to do. But yeah, those are my key 3: Joaquin Niemann, Patrick Reed, a couple of live players. I know we already went through the whole does live matter? No, it doesn't matter, because both those guys are also hot shits on the PGA Tour. But
there's a live tax too, for whatever reason, on betting cards and DK on every guy not named Rahm and DeChambeau. The rest of all those guys, to me, are values for the golfers they are and the prices that they're at.
But I think that's a fair tax, because granted, they are champions, but they're not currently staying up to form. It really is. You really are taking a little bit of a risk, because does winning on live mean jack shit? I can sit here and make an argument either way to say, yes, winning is winning at this level. These guys, they can convince themselves that any old victory, they convince themselves that money games on the side are enough to get off the skids. So the live tax, but I also think it's fair, because we've seen rust. We've seen these guys come off, and that's why I'm staying away.
Playing shotguns, right? Like, to me, the biggest part is they don't have to play with a lead, which I think is the hardest part of winning golf tournaments, is going into Saturday, Sunday with a lead, seeing
it's
people
that sitting and waiting
score,
all day.
The system is built to help them get to where they want to be, which is mental anonymity and just aloofness. Next shot, ball hit, ball hit. So I do think it's fair, and that's why I think I'm staying away from Cam Smith, because as much as I love him, and as much as I think he's one of the most I'm going to say underrated, just because we don't talk about him as much because he's at live, underrated putters of our time, especially with his very simplistic practice routine. He's like, I hit some 15 footers for about 20 minutes, and then I go on with life. I'm like,
it's like that dick that you play with. That
he's John Daly, but with a flat stick. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Cam Smith is out of all the big name guys. So I don't know the ownership, but out of all the big name guys that went to live, so Cam Smith 13% ownership, this projected ownership this week. So Cam Smith, out of all the big name guys that went to live, though, we heard about, obviously when Bryson went, we kind of heard a lot of talk after he went about how we were going to miss him. Same with Rahm, same with Brooks, hell, same with DJ. Like, it Phil, we even heard that once Cam Smith went to live, he just kind of disappeared off people's radar. And he doesn't deserve that. He's a good enough golfer where he should have been on the world's radar for golf. But for some reason, Cam Smith didn't have the personality to carry himself through going to a league that was a startup, and he's just disappeared. So a lot of people, and I'm actually kind of surprised.
Bryson's the only guy that really hurt the PGA Tour, in my opinion.
Right, but I'm kind of surprised Smith is as high as 13%, because I would have thought he would be under 10.
I think it's that 8,200 price tag, right? Like that.
Yeah,
for a guy with his record. I mean, he's got 4 top 10s at Augusta in the last 5 years. Like, he has the ability to tear it up as well. Ryan, who's your core?
One of the names we really haven't talked about yet is my boy in the yellow shirt on Sundays, Hideki Matsuyama. And obviously, he's in that kind of over 9,000 range, but still at 9,500. I kind of like anchoring him with obviously he's
Another
got
guy
a
with a great
track
record,
Yeah,
right?
and
Yeah.
to me, that's one of the most paramount things is guys that have had success at Augusta,
Mhm.
play well at Augusta, and are comfortable at Augusta. And Hideki's game really shines there at Augusta. And then I've also got Sepp Straka, of course, who you've already talked about. I've got a special place in my heart for old Sepp because we used to host a big junior tournament, and he won it one year, so that was pretty cool. And then Aaron Rye as well at 6,800 on DraftKings. That's pretty wild, and you could really do a lot with your lineup having a guy like that in there.
6K range is great this week. Like it's risky, don't get me wrong, but I do like a lot of the guys in that price range where it wouldn't shock me if they're like in contention.
Get Tommy two gloves there on Sunday. Get Tommy two gloves with his iron covers.
Yep.
The guys that get pushed down in majors, you can't ignore just because of their price range. You need to remember it's majors are the one time that in DFS you gotta remember guys' names sometimes because pricing is obscured by just the pure amount of talent in the field.
Especially with the live guys now, right? Because those are guys that literally aren't in any other fields. Andrew, who's your core?
So I will say I do have a lineup where I have some guys we talked about. Colin Morikawa is a guy that I think can win this week. We talked about Patrick Reed and we talked about Russell Henley. Like those are guys that I do have in lineups. I typically only play one lineup every week. I just like to just
ballsy, my friend.
I do
like it,
and I've had a decent year so far this year. Like I don't bet a lot, but I've had a positive.
So you either win a lot, right, or it's just a negative.
Right. So but so far this year, from the start of the year to now, I do have a positive ROI. So I'm happy with my one lineup approach so far this year. This week I am doing two lineups because I couldn't. The millionaire maker on DK is only $10 instead of $25. So I made two lineups because I'm still saving $5 in my eyes because that's degenerate math right there. But so those are my like three guys that I would have played in a bunch of lineups if I made a bunch. But I'll give you my six.
I'm sorry, you said Colin. Who were the other two?
Colin, Reed, and Henley.
Okay.
Are like my three guys that I'm happy about in that lineup. But I do have a lineup that I think is the best. My second lineup is like a great 4 value play, and I'll give you all 6 guys. Forget the 4. I'll give you my whole lineup for that value play. All right, because I got Bryson, and I have Spieth, which I already talked about. I have Min-Woo Lee. No one's talked about Min-Woo Lee yet, but the man is on fire right now. You can say what you want about TGL. You can say what you want about how, it's not real golf, whatever. What we saw out of Min-Woo Lee in TGL, though, is his edge. We saw his personality. We saw that spark that you need to win majors. The guy is a king around the greens, which is something you need at Augusta. He's got that short game. He's Scheffler is the Scotty Scheffler is the chef. I don't want to hear this. Let the chef cook. He picked the wrong year to try to do that. I'm sorry, but Akshay Bhatia,
chef or Scotty, by the way, but that's okay.
Exactly. We Akshay Bhatia we already talked about as well. Sepp Straka, I am also on board with Sepp Straka, and then Nikolai Højgaard. So for my value lineup, because I think you get the best value out of all 6 of these guys: Bryson, Spieth, Min-Woo Lee, Akshay Bhatia, Sepp Straka, and Nikolai Højgaard. That's the one that I think is going to get me my most bang for my buck this week.
I just want to add on the Min-Woo Lee because he is somebody that I have in some DFS lineups. I ended up not betting him, but I think I may end up doing some prop bets on him. This guy's finished 27th or better in 8 of his last 12 major starts. Last year, T22nd at the Masters, T26 at the PGA, T21st at the US Open. He finished T14th at Augusta in 2022, and he has a game like built for Augusta National. He doesn't make a bunch of bogeys,
but he's
got talked about great around the greens. He's got a ton of carry distance. He hits his irons high. He's one of those guys. I think if he has a good approach week, look out.
If the wind stays down this week, beware of Min-Woo Lee. He could be a dark horse to win this because, like everything you just said, the fact that he hits his irons high, like that's. If the wind stays down this week, Min-Woo Lee could be a problem. And what I love about this lineup most that Min-Woo Lee are right around 12% projected ownership. Jordan Spieth right around 11 projected ownership. Like, not only is this a value from a cost perspective of DK, but from an ownership perspective. Like normally for a run-of-the-mill tournament on the PGA, I'm looking for is like 3 or 4 guys under 10% ownership. But when it comes to the majors, there's gonna be, because so many more people play the majors on DK or FanDuel or whatever, there's gonna be guys who are 16, 17, 18% owned that absolutely flop. They may make the cut, but they're gonna flop as far as their return for their value. So you can get away with having a 13, 14, 15% guy in your lineup and still make good money back when it comes to these major tournaments. You got to adjust your thinking for these massive field tournaments when it comes to these 4 plays this year.
But again, if you do single game cash game lineups with
Right, that's a different story.
555 people in there, you ain't got to worry about that shit. That's why I live on those things.
I agree.
I can't back you on the Spieth thing. I would love for Spieth to win, love for him to be in contention. I just can't. He's became on that list of guys I just can't trust. And it's also one of those deals that every time I play him, like that's the week that he'll play freaking awful and miss
we
the
all
cut.
have those guys.
Yeah. And it's just like, I don't want to dislike Jordan Spieth because I really like him. And if I continue to bet him and to put him in my DFS lineup so he plays the way he has the last year, he's going to be like hated. Everybody give me somebody you're fading this week in DFS. Like you don't want anything to do with them, especially maybe if there's somebody that a lot of people are on.
Where is he? I gotta see. Hold on.
Where's the haterade?
I'll just say Scotty Scheffler.
How dare
you?
Well, honestly,
there's only been 3 other people that have won back-to-back. Like the odds are against him. I know he's the best golfer in the world, but everybody's going to be picking him. Like that's
and even at like what I'm doing, which is single game cash game lineups, which the main thing you want is somebody who's going to be, top 10, top 20, definitely make the cut. To me, Scheffler, I would be more shocked about him than any other of, let's say, the top 10 guys if he misses the cut at this venue.
So you guys were talking about him earlier. The guy I'm fading is Jon Rahm. I know all 3 of you thought he has a chance to win it. I don't. I think he's.
That's why I asked the question.
I'd put him in there as well. I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah,
I'm not touching Jon Rahm because I don't trust the live translation.
So
I think he can win. Do I want to back him? No. Like I don't think it's likely. I just think that he definitely has the game where, again, if he has his AB game, he absolutely has potential to win this tournament.
Because he's definitely my fade at 10,400 and almost 15% projected ownership. Jon Rahm is 100% fade for me. 15%. Yeah, he's 14.7 right now on Fantasy National. And my reasoning is not because of his game. It's because I've seen a few interviews of him so far this week where he's really been talking about this is the first time his family's been able to travel with him so far this year because he's had some personal health issues with his wife and the kids and whatnot. There just seems to be a lot when you throw in the live aspect of being here again. I know he was freshly new to live when he came here last year, but like when you throw that all in together, I just feel like there's too many high emotions for him this year to really focus in on doing it again. I know he's a previous champion. I know he's got the game for it. This just doesn't feel like the year that he's going to be able to show that. Could he make the cut? Yes. Could he make a run and still be okay? Yes. But at 10,400, that I don't see him returning the value that you're paying, especially when you consider almost 15% ownership. That math doesn't add up to me. So I am fading Jon Rahm.
Brian, you said Scheffler. Bud, you got somebody that you want to pour some haterade on?
I'm with the Rahm train. I know earlier when I said oh no, it wouldn't shock me if he won. I agree though. I'm not going to touch it with a 10-foot pole because I think in between the ears, he's not going to be there. He's not going to be able to kind of lock it in, and I think somebody else is going to snipe it. This kind of like we had 4 number 1s in the Final 4 this year. I think this is going to be a chalky Masters.
For me, it's Bryson.
Ooh.
The guy, and again, this is DFS, but
par 67 comment from a couple years ago, isn't it?
Well, no, I mean he actually bucked a trend that he had never played Augusta really well until last year.
Right.
And granted, he did, and maybe he has figured it out. Again, I think it's another situation, kind of like my concern with Oberg, where he hit it out of his mind last year, like tee to green, and Bryson is going to be super aggressive, and that's historically been why this course has given him so much trouble. And you're telling me I can get Xander for 200 less, JT for 300 less, Hideki for 400 less. I would much rather, if I'm going to spend in that little, say, $500 range, have any one of those guys over Bryson. The other guy is Neiman and Sergio. That again, like to me, Sergio has missed a cut in this event. It's hard to believe 5 out of 6 years since winning this event. I don't understand that. How can somebody win this event who had a great track record at it, and then since then has missed a cut 5 out of 6 years? And Neiman, again, it's not anything against Neiman. It's just I like the guys underneath him. I'd way rather have Lowry at 8,800. You can even talk me into a Hatton 8,600. Mimuli, Russell, like Cam, Biate, all those guys are what, almost $1,000 or $1,200 cheaper. I just am not going to take the risk on him. Now, if you're doing a multi-entry, which I don't recommend, I really like Neiman this week because he's low owned, right?
Yeah, let me check that for you right now, but I believe he's oops, sorry, I hit the wrong buttons.
Can I ask a quick side prop bet?
Of course.
First round leader.
Ooh,
9% owned for Neiman, by the way.
9% for Neiman?
9.2 if you want to be exact.
Still,
That's
anything
the
single
projection.
digits. So first round leaders, I'm sitting here staring at a $10 bet that pays out $290 for Ludwig, and I'm thinking to myself that might be saucy.
No,
So
I think
that's worth it. I don't mind that at all.
Yeah, I don't either.
This is some of the fun. The first round leader. I mean, you got Brooksy at plus 35.
The group he's playing and plays into that because Ludwig. If Rory goes hot in the first round,
is he afternoon or morning though? Because hadn't like the first round leader gone off in the morning, like 6 out of last 7
a lot
years?
of times. Yeah,
I think they're afternoon, aren't they?
12. They're one of the first groups off the afternoon wave. I'm pretty sure, like 12:15. Maybe that's Central, so 1:15 Eastern, something like that.
Shane Lowry, 45 to 1.
Where are they? Yeah.
Anyway,
what's your boy Bernhardt's odds to be a first round leader?
Who's
early?
I
would love to see that.
He is.
Rory's at
plus 20,000.
Oh no, so
plus
Rory,
20,000.
Ludwig, and Akshay are actually the fourth to last group to go off. They go off at 1:12 p.m. Eastern. They're the fourth to last group to go off, so they're definitely afternoon wave. But we got to remember it is a smaller field. The Masters is a smaller field, so afternoon wave doesn't exactly hit the same as every other tournament. But
that's why the ownership, I think, is not. You know what I mean? Like to what you were saying a minute ago, that 10% is really not that high when you think about players
in the majors. It's not. And like you said, the field too. But I mean, I think just like we said, I think Rory can benefit from a guy like Ludwig in his group. I think Ludwig will benefit from a guy like Rory in his group. Like it wouldn't shock me if Ludwig pushed himself more than he did last year and came out hot, even if he doesn't do well the rest of the time. Like, but I love that. I love that play for Ludwig at that odds to be a first round leader. That's worth it.
Bernhard plus 225 to make the cut. See, this is where you can nickel and dime your way around the place.
Yeah, it's worth like $1 bet. Get $3, whatever.
So I'll give you two guys playing together at 9:14. Corey Connors at 45 to 1, and Stefan Jager at 80 to 1.
And those
Jager missed the cut last year.
They sound like round one leaders at the Masters,
right?
Yeah,
right.
There's always a name up there that you're like, what?
Other than that year that Jordan Spieth led every round, there's usually just that one guy that comes out of nowhere and then disappears.
Yep.
Those greens are, not that they ever get bumpy because they're Augusta National, but they're a little bit slower with them obviously having the dew, water on them from the morning. There's not any footprints or anything. And those guys need all the help typically on the greens. That's why Stefan Jager is actually one of the guys under 7K. He missed the cut in his debut last year, but this is a guy who has made unreal strides around the greens and on them. Like I was shocked when I was looking up information a couple of weeks ago. He's top 20, I believe, in both strokes gained around the greens and strokes gained putting. He's 27th in putting, 25th in strokes gained around the greens, still top 40 in strokes gained approach. Real quickly, just the values that I have this week are my favorite values. JT 9,600. Russell Henley, again, one of my favorite plays, 8,400. A guy we have not mentioned because obviously we mentioned Straka, Reed, Cam Smith. Robert McIntyre at 8K is another guy that it would not shock me if he won this tournament at all.
He's got the balls to win a major. He does.
And he's played well here already. He's played well in majors already. He's good around the greens. He doesn't make a ton of bogeys. He hits the ball plenty far enough. He hits the ball very high. I like him a lot. And then again, for the under 7K guys, I got two first timers in Dietrich and Yager. I really do like Denny McCarthy at 6,500. He made the cut in his first trip here. Brian Harn at 6,800 is so disrespectful when he's coming off by far his best putting performance of the year. He's actually kind of done the inverse where he hasn't putted great or scrambled very well, but he's hit the ball excellent. If he can get back to his typical short game, he has a pretty good track record here. And then another liver, Charles Schwartzel. 6,200. Sign me up.
Champion.
Another guy with an unreal track record at this event. The ugliest putter you've ever seen. It looks like it's like backwards or upside down.
One of the ugliest men you've ever seen.
It's, oh my God, it's awful.
Dang, Charles Schwartzel hating this group today.
Hey, we're calling shots.
He
He should
deserves
never
it.
It's probably
gone
a
left.
lab putter. It's probably a lab putter. I mean, that's
If
that's
it
the
is,
new craze.
I need to take back all the nice things I've said about lab putters because it literally, Ryan, looks like it's like upside down.
I'm
Right,
pretty sure
yeah,
it is
it's
a
weird.
lab putter because TaylorMade's got a little partnership with Lab, and he's a TaylorMade.
When
guy.
did that start?
They're releasing one of their putters here, I believe, in April or later this
Ah.
month.
He's got
actually.
the early info.
Yeah,
I've got the old giant basketball looking lab. It's amazing though. Like seriously, like just a outstanding. Evan wants to know, do y'all do hard rock? You do, don't you, Ryan?
That's the only thing I can do is because I'm in this great state of Florida where the Seminole Indian tribe has a monopoly on
Yeah, he
sports
can't do
betting
DraftKings. Can you
until
believe that?
2051. No, I can do
Oh, you
fantasy,
can do DraftKings.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
you
I
can do
just can't do
fantasy, but not
DFS.
sports book.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
But thanks to the Seminole Indians, I can do sports betting.
There we
the
go.
Seminole
Hard
Indians.
rock.
Yep.
I will say, Keith, real fast.
Yeah, of course.
Because I mentioned it on Sunday night on a show we were on, and no one seemed to be on board with me. I don't care. I'm gonna put it out there again. My long shot to be a value this week.
Mhm.
He's a 20,000 plus 20,000 odds to win. I don't think he's gonna win, but at 5.8% projected ownership, Cameron Young coming into 7,000. I don't mind the way he lines up for the course. Let me look at his remind myself of his tournament history. He finished T9 last year, T7 in 2023.
Yeah, his major record is ridiculous.
Exactly. He's someone who's
the ball too.
completely under the radar right now. And at those odds, I'd throw a couple bucks on Cameron Young to be a long shot to win. And again, in a year that once again, my words, no one else's, my words. I feel like a wild shot
more
could
open
win.
than normal.
No, a wild shot could win this year.
He shouldn't have gone on Ozempic. I'm disappointed since Cam's lost all that weight. He is not the same player.
What do
but
they
I
say in
agree with
baseball?
you.
The
He
ace has the
game.
ass or whatever it is. Like
Yeah. He's struggled since he's lost that weight.
he's playing good right now, though.
No, I love Cam, man. He's the guy that I bet way too much, and I would never really regret it because I'm going to be ahead of the trend one day. Bets to win. Do you want to start there? Or do you want to do props? What you guys want to do first?
Whatever.
Props.
You're the lead of this show.
Props.
We've been talking about winners for hours.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Let's do some props. Then.
Literal hours.
I mentioned it
Oh my god, I fucked up my screen.
earlier. You can get my boy Angel Cabrera. And I'm sorry, I kept saying the 35. It's 14-1 for Cabrera, right? Did I get that wrong? I think it's couples is 35-1.
I don't know.
And I
But
got
can
it
you just
mixed
say
up with the
Akshay
Cs.
Bhattia's last name again because you kill me every time.
Akshay Bhatia.
Bhatia. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
No, I think you're actually saying it the way he pronounced it before. Ashke Bhatia.
Bhatia?
That's
that
how
it?
I believe you pronounced it, Keith. But I believe it's actually.
Brian, do you see now why I struggle? Is because I
Well,
can't
a lot
even
of these
tell.
names aren't easy to pronounce either because
They're
look
not.
one way
They're
and
so hard.
the English language is really dumb. But obviously, these are a lot of not.
And they didn't
English
go
names.
to have a Coweta County public education, so I mean, I'm really at a disadvantage. You think the Panhandle has got rough areas? Come up to the sticks, just south of Atlanta. I really do though. Like we mentioned Phil 3-1 to top 20. To me, like that's going to be one of my bigger unit bets this week. But it's actually like the top 10 and top 5 range that I really think there's the most value this week. Do you guys have any top 20 bets before we get into the top 10, top 5 that you really like?
I prefer to see what you guys would think about a hole-in-one happening. Yes, minus 175. No, plus 125.
That seems like pretty crappy odds, right? Like, how often does it happen? I don't know. I need that
fairly
kind of
often
nerd
on
information.
16. If you look at some of the statistics, especially 16 on Sunday, there's been a lot of hole-in-ones on Sundays.
I got one for you. I got a top 20 parlay of Xander, JT, and Russell Henley at plus 600.
Well, wait a minute. Go back one more time with that. What was it?
It's a top 20 parlay, Xander, Justin Thomas, and Russell Henley plus 600.
I do like that.
There's some good top 20 parlays down here. Rory, Bryson, and J Rose at plus 600. Who's all the way down the bottom? What's the cheese they're putting out there? Hideki, Brooks, and Phil plus 1,800 for a top 20 parlay finish. Now we're getting in the weeds.
Yeah, the problem is, and this is where I need somebody that's a math genius, because when the Model Maniac came on my show a couple of weeks ago, right, Ryan, he was explaining to us that you need to work the math there, where it's like if you're trying to get 3 people, say, to finish top 20 or top 10, it would almost make more sense if you like all 3 of those guys to then bet them at, say, top 5, where it's almost equal odds.
Yeah,
Right.
you can dial down to get your best return on the basically same bet.
Because you're not then looking for 3 things I know, but I mean, that's, there is a reasoning for that stuff.
Did we lose Andrew? Did we lose our
No,
quorum?
he said he'd be right back.
All right, what else we got on the prop bet scene?
So top 10, I got a ton.
Let's hear it.
So the first one, again, you can sign me up for Mickelson all day, plus 750.
I think that's.
I mean, he 2 years ago, what was it, Ryan? I hit it. It was like, I think he was.
It was a
20 to 1. Oh, he's back.
Yeah.
Sorry, Andrew. He was. I think it was 20 to 1 to top 20 that year, because that was when he was playing awful golf after the PGA win. And I took it, and obviously I was excited because he finished second, but I'm also thinking, you idiot, if you liked him that much to top 20, why didn't you do like the top 5 and top 10? I think the top 5 was like 40 to 1. But I think that's stealing money. Brian Harmon plus 550, again, the things I was saying, he's had a decent track record there. Patrick Reed plus 440, I think maybe my best or favorite bet this week. Again, 12th or better. 4 of the last 5, played well at Doral, which I haven't played Doral, but I've heard that's about as close as the live guys are going to get to the, difficulty of the green, speed, firmness, all that stuff that these guys can face. And the other 2 top 10 bets I like, I do like Shane Lowry a lot at plus 250 to top 10, and Corey Connors at plus 360.
So we're on top 10 right now. Is that what we're doing?
Yes, sir.
So top 10 for me, I got Keegan Bradley at plus 550. Keegan for me is a guy who is playing the perfect amount of aggressiveness and intelligence around courses right now. He's taken this Ryder Cup.
He's going to make the team, right? Like he's going to flat out make it.
He's taking it so serious that he wants to be top 6 so that he can play and it not be a question. But I also think he is looking for a signature performance to legitimize his captaincy. I think like a lot of us who, when he first got announced captain, I've changed my tune since, but when he first got announced captain, my thought was it was an overcorrection of last year, him being snubbed. So
there's a Make-A-Wish deal, right? Like where they're
So I think Keegan's got a fire under his ass this year to prove that he belongs. And for a top 10, for the way he's playing right now at plus 550, that just seems like a nice chance I'm willing to take.
Top 25, 3 of his last 5 starts here.
Exactly.
Now he's only played twice, I think, in the last 5 years, but he's T23, T22 the last 2 years in his returns.
And he's playing better this year than he was those years.
Yes.
I got your top 10, and it's Tommy Fleetwood. Finished T3 last year. It's plus 500. He's plus 500 for a top 10 with Tommy Ladd there. He's made, I think, 7 cuts in a row, and T3 finished last year again. And he's flirted with greatness. I know he was flirting with the players this year. So Tommy Ladd, top 10 seems like a lock.
I
Can
love
we
his
count-
prop bets. I just don't love betting on him, but
That's
this
what
is
I'm
my
saying.
wheelhouse for him. Like
yeah.
I feel very confident that Fleetwood always has a chance to finish top 5, 10, top 10. Those feels like good odds too.
Fairway Jesus finds us on Sunday.
He screwed my lineups last week at the Valero because of his Sunday performance.
He screwed
Like,
everybody.
+6 or what- Like that's just absolutely pissed me off. So like I can't get behind him because yeah, sure, he made the cut last week. Whoop-de-doo, and then he played like shit. So whatever. Ryan Gerard. Is Ryan Gerard in the field? God damn it. I want Ryan Gerard in the field.
He's playing with
not in the
David
field.
Ford.
David Ford, yeah, they tee off at 5:45 a.m.
Ford.
Central.
What's his first name again?
David.
No,
David
they're
Ford.
at, what is the
Go
course
ahead.
right next to it, Ryan? Augusta Country Club. They're at Augusta
Oh, yeah,
Country
there we
Club
go.
in the morning.
Yeah,
That's
they're
what
playing
Cam
with
Smith was last year.
the Coca-Cola boys in the Masters Week.
A buddy of mine played that my aforementioned friend who's a workers' comp attorney plays out of Augusta
It's
Country
an
Club. He-
amazing golf
he
course.
goes up
When
to
my
Lake
dad's
Oak.
played it. That's great.
And they renovated it not too long ago with the millions of dollars they got for
Didn't
giving
Augusta give them
National.
like 30
Yeah.
million or something for a
Yep,
few,
for that little piece, and that was their old hole number 7, I believe, and they completely regrassed and did the golf course. So that's the way to do it.
He's
That's
the
a
same
smart
guy.
investment.
He's one
Yeah.
of those Augusta folks who they rent out their house this week.
Yep.
They go to Lake Oconee
Oh,
and just
man, that's
play.
awesome.
Play
Yeah,
in
that's
every
a
Mortgage
great
rental.
for the
deal,
whole
man.
year. Yeah,
A
absolutely.
lot of people do that at East Lake too, right around the course. Ryan, you got any top 10s you really like?
I was actually just on one, and then I went away from it. Let's see. About your boy, Christian. Pronounce it, Keith, for me.
Zay-
Zudenhout.
Christian Buzenhout.
I just wanted to hear you say it. That's all.
Zudenhout.
But yeah, on Hard Rock anyway, plus 1,300 to top 10.
Oh,
It's
I
kind
like
of an
that, actually.
interesting
Is
one.
this his first one?
no, I think it was
No.
there last year.
Yeah, I
Wasn't
think
it?
number 2, because I think I remember you saying his name last year as well.
You can't forget him.
He still has scar tissue for me trying. to
No,
find
no,
it.
it's good. It's good. It keeps us on our toes.
So Evan had a
That's for sure.
question on DK. Are you able to do first round 3-ball, Ryan?
No, because the only DK I have is DFS.
I'll check.
Gotcha. I'm the
Um,
same way.
But
Sam
you can on
says
Hard
he loves
Rock.
Shane Lowry to win this week, which
Yeah.
it would not shock me. There's a lot of the statistics, especially with the tee to green and how many of the trends and stuff. Lowry is one of the top
He falls
guys
into those. Yeah.
on the list. Any other top 10 picks, or you guys want to move on top 5s?
Cinco.
I'm on your train.
I'm on your show.
You guys. All right. It's our show, Ryan. Don't be a dick. We had this conversation on the radio.
I said our show last
Okay,
time on my
okay,
show.
Okay.
That you get to
Just
come
want
on.
to make sure it's
I
our show.
just said it's your show.
But that's okay. You don't know that. He has been already told several times. He kept saying, having me on your show. It's like, dude, you're my co-host now. It's definitely our freaking show.
Am I a
Uh,
co-host, though?
I'm just here for morale.
By the way, when Evan
That's
says
right.
first,
He's the.
by the way, when Evan says first round 3-ball, is he talking about like who wins per group or what's?
I'm
not
assuming that,
sure.
yeah,
I
because
think
that's what the
but
3
that's-
balls that
yeah.
I know are. Has got 3 players, and whoever's the lowest.
Yeah.
Because
in
on,
that
on
round.
DK Sportsbook you can pick per group.
Okay.
So yes, that's something you can do.
How
on-
are the
on
odds?
DK
Pretty
Sportsbook.
shitty. Like the way.
They're all. I literally just closed it. The first.
Oh, no,
the
it's all
first
good.
few
I was just
groups
curious.
saw were mostly like between
Near
plus 100,
even,
plus
like, yeah,
250, like
yeah.
nothing crazy.
Again, the top 5, I think there's a ton of value. Mickelson, 18-1. Again, why not? I love Reed at 11-1 and
Mhm.
Strzok at 10-1. Same thing for Henley at 7-1. And then I think one of you guys mentioned earlier, and it was one of my on my cheat sheet this week. Xander at plus 300. The guy's won 2 out of 3 majors. And man, you want to talk about like if he is in the thick of it, you don't have to worry about Xander's ability. And what was crazy was it's amazing what a few majors can do, because going into the PGA last year, everybody talked about when is Xander going to win a major? He's the best player to never win a major. And you looked at all this data, including like rounds under par, strokes gained total, like all this stuff. Xander had one of the greatest starts to a major career of any player ever, but he had not won one. Now he's won 2 out of 3. I think that getting 3-1 odds for him. I guess that's because of the injury concerns is why you're getting that much juice on it. But I love that. But again, the Henley, Straka, Reed, Mickelson, I'm thinking about messing around with 2 of those guys and parlays because with 7-1, 10-1, 11, especially with those 3 guys, Henley, Straka, Reed, you might get like 25, 26-1 odds.
What was I put together to make the cut parlay, and I forget what it was. I'm going to look that up. Someone else talk, but I'm going to look that up real fast.
Victor Hovland at 6-1 on Hard Rock, top 5. I like
that's your guy.
Yeah, no, it's actually Jay's guy. But
was he talking Terminator 2 Judgment Day? Did I see that, or what was he? He was talking some like movie that I was like, really? During his presser, seriously.
He was talking about shit. What movie was he referencing? There was some movie talk at the presser.
He had a pretty long one.
Is such a cool character, man. Like I really do like Victor a lot, and it's amazing that he lost 11 yards. I think going average off the tee, and then he wins a tournament and a big one out of nowhere.
Eminem, he was talking about 8 Mile.
Oh, that's right. 8
Mile.
Mile.
That's what he did. Yeah, he mentioned 8 Mile today. Yeah.
Amazing stuff.
Victor Hovland uses Eminem to explain why he disses himself.
Don't.
And then he got into UFO. He got into UFOs.
Yeah, I saw a laundry list of all the
like
crazy
Victor.
stuff you talked about.
Speaking of UFOs, I gotta hop on one out of this. I gotta wrap it up for the evening.
I know you got a little one, yeah.
I got called back upstairs. The roommate is tapping me in.
Yeah.
I will say this: the stars are gonna align. Rory's gonna win. Eat the chalk. Love the chalk. And Xander top 5. Whoever just said that, Xander top 5 is pretty dadgum sexy. But don't sleep on Fairway Jesus.
Anything you want to promote, Bud, before you get out of here?
At this Bud's for you. Check me out on Instagram. Divots and Pivots every Tuesday on YouTube, 8 p.m. I don't know why I'm leaning into this microphone so hard. My voice is running out. I will see you, gentlemen. Have a happy
Thank
Masters.
You so much,
Thank you,
buddy.
guys.
We appreciate
nice
you,
to meet you,
man.
bud.
North Florida for life.
Amen to that, right?
He's
You friggin' Florida people, you are so weird. Any other top 5 plays, Ryan?
I mean, I like his Fairway Jesus top 5 too. I think
I do too. I had not heard that one. Fleetwood at 5-1 feels pretty decent odds.
Yeah,
I can't with Fleetwood after last week. I know it was just the Valero. But
no, I get it.
I can't. It's too recency biases for me. If I hadn't played him last week, like that'd be one thing, but I can't.
You don't want to get to where you hate. It's just like what I was saying about Spieth. Like eventually it gets to a point where like enough bad finishes in a row when you got a lot invested in him and you just hate the guy.
And Fleetwood's one of those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fleetwood's one of those guys for me that every time I expect him to do really well, even if he makes the cut, he does what he did this past weekend, and he just absolutely flops and finishes last out of cut makers.
Brutal loss to Nick Taylor and the Canadian Open. Like that is one of the most brutal losses I've ever seen for a guy trying to win his first PGA.
Exactly.
Like he did everything right, and Nick Taylor makes a 90-footer, and what's his name gets sacked. By
Adam
Lawrence
Hadwin.
Taylor.
So that's what I that came up last night. Actually, I was at I subbed in at a dart league for the first time ever. I've never played darts in my life competitively, and I was talking to this guy, and the Elijah one being snubbed from being able to celebrate with Houston for their Final Four victory was up there with me with Adam Hadwin getting tackled by security.
Wait a minute, I missed this. What happened? They didn't let the dream?
After they beat Duke in the Final Four,
security freaking stopped him and didn't let him go celebrate with the team.
Who was this 7-footer? Did they not know who he was?
Houston's greatest, basketball player in their school's history, snubbed.
Yep.
By Jamma Slam, or was it By Slamma Jamma? Yeah,
but it was up there with me with Adam Hadwin, like that, because it's just the visual of Adam Hadwin getting absolutely laid out by security.
Such a great tackle, though.
Holding a bottle of champagne too. It was all just perfect. For me, for a top 5 though, I'll go pretty chalky for a top 5. I guess I'm gonna go Ludwig Gobert at plus 300 though. It's just he just has that it factor that you can't like. You can't quantify in a stat. It's fully eye test, and he just has it. And he's gonna show up. He's got like we talked about earlier. He's playing in the group to not only push his partners, but to push himself to where it's gonna be a give and take, and it's gonna drive him and Rory, and probably Akshay to some greatness this weekend. So top 5 for Ludwig at plus 300. I'm willing to throw some on that.
Any other ones, Ryan? We'll move on to the winners.
Let's go winners and then talk a little what grinds our gears on the golf course.
Real quickly, Sam wants to know DK, GPP, Michael Kimmer, lefty in a vacuum. Mickelson, I don't know what the difference in the ownership is, which again, because it's GPP,
let's see.
I could understand. You know
So
what I mean?
Mickelson's 8.8% projected ownership right now, and Michael Kim is 9.1. I will take
Mickelson
all day there.
And again, it could be wrong, but Mickelson's track record, I mean, he still hits it plenty far enough, which is one of the things these older guys struggle with. Mickelson hits as far as probably half the field now, and nobody knows how to get around Augusta. Like, I think we can get to the point where we're saying that, like, for talent-wise, nobody knows how to get around Augusta better than Phil Mickelson at this point in his career.
Yeah, now that Tiger's not playing, I agree. And with Michael Kim, like, I love what he's doing on Twitter right now, giving his Masters, like, diaries, whatever he's calling it.
So cool.
But honestly, what I've been reading out of his practice rounds, he's been very transparent about every single shot he's making on every single hole and whatnot. He doesn't seem to have a feel for the course, and it's totally taken me off of him.
This is his first Masters too, right?
I think it's his first. I could be wrong, but I do think you're right. I think it's his first. That. Either way, with what he's saying in his Masters diaries this week, I don't think he has a feel for it this week. I think he's going to miss the cut. So yeah, I will definitely take lefty and Phil Mickelson over Michael.
He played in 2019 and missed the cut. That was before they obviously lengthened the course. But I mean, it's it's literally a different course at this point.
It doesn't sound like he's got it still.
Bets to win again. I went out there. Scheffler at plus 400. I'm basically putting 0.4 of a unit on it. I understand you have to do that. Put it in there. I understand that again. I was the one stating that Scheffler's 10th place finish last time. He was the defending champion, best in the last decade by a defending champ. But I just think he's the exception to the rules. He plays this course so well. He's leading strokes gained tee to green for the 2 months heading into it, which that's been a big key in the recent winter trends. And then again, the ball striking is still so good. 7th strokes gain approach, 6th strokes gain off the tee, 3rd strokes gain tee to green, 7th in proximity, 1st in par 4 scoring, 1st in bogey avoidance. The one that really jumped out to me, 3rd in scrambling. He is 4th putting inside 10 feet right now on the PGA Tour. Big reason why he is strokes gained 42nd in putting, which I know that doesn't sound that big, but it is for Scheffler, who was winning, making literally nothing last year. Xander 18-1. I do like the value. JT 25-1. Again, I think that it's not an awful bet with the way he's ball striking. That's the most risky of those low odd guys. And then from there, I just love pounding the 55 to 75 range where I have Henley at 55, McIntyre at 60, Straka at 75. And then the one long shot I have is Reed he's now at 100. I actually got him at 110-1 2 days ago. So those are kind of the guys that I like to win. Ryan, why don't you go first and we'll let Andrew go. Oh, muted again.
That headset is just failing him tonight.
My back.
Yep.
That was a quick one. Okay.
It's just a little teeny tiny connection, I guess. And again, for anybody listening, I'm working off the Hard Rock odds.
Yeah.
But Ludwig Aubert obviously is in my 16-1, great value to win. He's going to be there. We've talked to him about him to death. Hideki at 30-1 on Hard Rock. Really like that.
That is somebody I'm worried about sleeping on.
Yeah. And then Cousin Russell 40-1 is a good one for me. Sepp Straka at 60-1. On Hard Rock is pretty fantastic. And then kind of long shot guys. Daniel Berger, I know he had a tough go.
I do like him this week.
He's plus 10,000. So you just
real value on DFS too. Like I think he's also under 7K.
Let me see.
Right? Isn't he either under 7K or right at the bottom?
No. So he's 7,100 for salary, but he's actually 12.4% owned, which I know. I said earlier, like that's okay for a major, but it's honestly higher than I expected him to be.
I need to dig into his metrics a little more, but he really does. Right. He has a lot of the characteristics. He also played Augusta very well early in his career. Then we know he had the injuries and just
the
alcohol, all the stuff. He missed the cut 2 times, but he's such a better golfer now, and he has the experience at Augusta, both, the course before they lengthen it and after, to where I do think that there's some real potential value there.
So I'll tell you right now, Berger ranks 16th in my model this week.
There you go.
He's 13th in 3-putt avoidance. He's 7th in par fives between 550 and 600, which is 3 out of the 4 par fives here. So that's
huge,
very important. That's huge.
77% again of the scoring here comes on those 4 par fives. Like, you got to get it there.
And to top it off, is a little less impressive, but he's 23rd in fairways gained, 34 in greens and regulations gained, and he's 67th in approach. But that's honestly still that's enough. That's worth that value of that.
It's above average, which that's really what matters.
He's above average as a whole. Yes.
Yeah.
And at 100 to 1, it's kind of like, take him.
Why not?
Will,
that's a chance worth taking. Yeah, 100%.
For sure. All right, why don't you, Andrew, and then we'll close it out by adding something to the world's worst golfer list.
Yeah, so I'd say my pick to win is Colin Morikawa this week. I know it's a little bit more chalky, but at plus 1,800, I like those odds as far as when it comes to picking a winner from a betting standpoint.
Also would join Elite Company, right, with that third major,
Correct.
different one. I think that's another storyline kind of being undersold with his recent form.
Yeah, he's got the like I said before, he's got the gravitas to do it. So I think this lines up perfectly this year for him to do it. So I do like that from a DK standpoint. And he's about 20% owned, so he's a tough play from DK standpoint. Like I said earlier, I do have him in one of my 2 lineups because I do think he's going to win. So I had to play him because you got to have the winner in these GPPs when you're playing that, and I am playing the Millie Maker, so I had to eat it.
Yeah.
But from just a pure betting standpoint, I love the odds at plus 1,800 for Colin Morikawa to win. I think it's got a high probability this week.
Yeah, he's done it, multiple major venues, which is, I think, a really big deal.
Right.
Any other bets you like to win, or?
The only I placed some. Let me see real fast. I'll pull up my DK.
And did you figure out that parlay? Because I do want to know.
So I never actually placed the parlay. I realized when I looked at my bets, I was working through it, and then I just never actually placed it.
I just love a good parlay.
So I did place. So the bets I do have this week is I did Min-Woo Lee for a top 10 at plus 350. I also did Min-Woo Lee as a winner at plus 6,000. Because I just like those odds and I like what he brings. Like I said earlier, Keegan Bradley for a top 10 plus 550, Colin Morikawa plus 1,800 to win. You
said you do like Keegan a lot for DFS too, right?
Yes, I do, because Keegan
he's in a good value too, like that price range.
Yeah, I forget what his ownership was. Let me double check his ownership.
I think he's under 7,500, right?
Yeah, so Keegan's 7,000 salary, and he's at 12.2% projected ownership right now. So yeah, I do Keegan Bradley for DK purposes,
back-to-back top 25s here. And to your point, playing the best golf.
I like him a lot there. Yeah. So that's where my money is landing this week.
Love that, Andrew. All right, real quickly, because I know that we've been going an hour and a half. If you're new to the show, that's no surprise. I don't know if Andrew and Bud knew what they were getting into. I apologize. So worst golfing habits. Why don't you just start, Andrew, and name something that really annoys you? It can either be by somebody you play with, something you see, etc., at the golf course.
The PGA rules expert, I can't stand.
That is a great one.
If you're in my cart and you're like, I get it, you're helping me find my ball. I know I missed the fairway. You can help me find it. I understand. But after like one pass, get away so that I can freely drop my ball and pretend like I found my tee shot. And let me
I think we can stop the count, Ryan, right? Because I hadn't even thought about this, but this is so true. Like, I can't
just go away.
Actually, you got to drop it over here.
Yeah,
like,
just
dude,
don't give me my line. I have to
we're
drop
all
it
shooting
at.
in the 80s. Get the fuck in the cart and get out of my face. Like, for real. I mean, if it's a tournament, it's one thing, but for just a fun round with the boys, there's no, or hey, it's my tee box. I had a lower score. It's like, well, why don't you not take your sweet ass time making out of the box? I'm trying to hit, man.
I just want to go home at the end of the day and tell the wife that I shot good today. And if it's because I dropped a few that I shouldn't have dropped, I don't care. The number at the end of the day that I tell myself is the one that matters.
One of my dad's best lines, and he's got a million of them. This ain't the NBA. when somebody asks, can I take a drop, or you weren't supposed to do that or whatever.
Right.
And I don't know if he's actually trying to be funny in the sense that, like, you know, this ain't the NBA, it's actually golf, or it's just one of the things that with my dad, once he starts saying something, he'll just keep saying it. So, I mean, it's just like anytime something's blocked, to this day, he says blocked by Jabbar, which I'm like, Dad, that's like a 40-year-old reference. You're not even using Kareem. If you're using Kareem, maybe people would know, but Jabbar, nobody knows who that is. So, Ryan, do you think that's a good one to just end on? Because I love this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fantastic. I was actually going to have a ball situation as one of mine is when people are looking for their golf ball for way too long.
Yeah, that's also
like
annoying.
if you hit it in the woods, just drop a ball, like you said, Andrew.
Yeah, don't
and,
go.
and
You're not going to hit it out of the
like,
trees. Don't go into the woods looking for it like you're going to hit it.
Yeah,
Like
just drop it and go.
They break
No
out
one-
their scuba diving equipment.
Yeah,
They're going
yeah,
into the water.
to get the ball retriever extended.
Hey, I
If you're
have
a
a
ball
head-
retriever,
I have
I'm
a-
not playing with you.
I have a
Like, that's
head
your
cover
vote,
for
Ryan.
my ball retriever.
No way.
Okay.
You got to keep
No
it
way.
protected. I get it.
I'm not.
I get
If
it.
you have like a 10-foot ball retriever, that's a no-go for me.
So
I'm
here's the
like,
thing,
put that in the car because that means you're going to be fishing for balls
No, so here's the
multiple
thing.
times during the round.
I have one because I know the places I play on, the courses I play on are
There's a lot of areas that you need it.
slow play courses, like where there's
You got
times
time.
on
Oh, you
tee
spend time.
boxes where you-
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I only
get
ever
that.
pull it out if I'm standing around waiting. I got nothing else to do but go over
Resourceful.
to the pond and get some free golf balls. I don't go looking for my ball. I just
I
get
get
some free
that.
balls when
No,
I get
that
time.
makes sense. No, that I respect that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna add that to the list, which I'm excited about because I
Love
think
it.
that's a great
we go.
one. The
contribution.
unwarranted PGA
Yeah.
rules
Nobody asked, yeah.
expert. Andrew, before we get out of here, also
Yes,
just
sir.
Sam wanted to thank us for
Thank you,
answering that
Sam.
question. Sam, anytime, man. That's what we're here for. Happy to do that. Andrew, what all would you like to plug before we get out of here? Because we have really enjoyed having you and Bud on here and also coming on your show earlier. I highly recommend people checking out the Divots and Pivots show.
Yeah, I love you guys. This has been a fun night. Yeah, check out the Divots and Pivots Twitter account at Divots and Pivots. Also, go over to YouTube. We're trying to grow the YouTube channel on its own now, so we're
right
pretty
now.
low right now. But get over there and subscribe to at Divots and Pivots 511. It's generic YouTube, I know, whatever, but still subscribe to that, please. We're trying to grow that, and then download us on Spotify or your podcast platforms. Divots and Pivots as well.
That
and if
I've
you want-
already done.
Yes, thank you very much, because that's our biggest platform to the next step that we want to take. So please help us out if you enjoy us in that way. And then my personal Twitter is at Real Mr. Mallard. You can find my golf takes and my football takes on there once the football season kicks off and once we come into draft season here very soon. So
But he's not Andrew Leduc. He's Andrew Leduc.
Leduc, you got it.
He got knighted by the king
Yes.
of England. I used to say queen, but you can't say that anymore.
The King of Ducks.
Ryan, you got anything you want to plug other than ESPN Northwest Florida Radio?
Well, you already did it right there. So yeah, I
There
mean,
we
that's
go.
pretty much where I live. And obviously tomorrow, as we do after every Tuesday podcast, you'll be joining us from 1 o'clock Eastern to about 1:40. And I'm sure a lot of the stuff we've talked about this evening, we will recap tomorrow and get everybody ready for Augusta National, which we're about almost 36-ish hours from getting to the first tee time.
And we
Close
get the
enough
par
for me.
3 challenge tomorrow, which is always a
Yeah.
highlight for me.
It's a
Yeah,
fun one.
tomorrow is probably my favorite non-football season show of the
Good one.
year because Ryan, for 40 minutes, we talk golf. I hate, though, that Jay won't be there. I always love with Jay actually being in the golf game and working in golf for forever and
Yeah.
teaching still to hear his reasoning for his golf picks is pretty phenomenal because I get the craziness that comes out for other sports because they don't really pay attention. It's like golf, really?
Golf,
You
he
don't have
knows.
any.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't really have any reasoning for, why you're picking this guy, but that's Jay, man.
Yep. That's it.
He's the man. But real quickly again, please be sure to subscribe to Fantasy Six Packs YouTube channel. They are obviously on all social media platforms. We have really expanded and worked hard on our golf coverage this year. Obviously, we have me and Ryan every Tuesday night. But we released this week for the Masters key stats and data for free. Strokes gained total, strokes gained off the tee, strokes gained approach, par 3, par 4, par 5 scoring, bogey avoidance, birdie or better percentage, a ton of stuff that it's all free on Fantasy Six Pack. as well as I do a weekly article that is a preview. That's going to be key stats, course preview, trends, etc. And then you can find also on there my betting card cheat sheet and DFS/DraftKings cheat sheet. Those are just the plays. They're very easy to see. And then again, find us on Wednesdays on ESPN Northwest Florida, where it's like a mini 2 Off the Tee, where me and Ryan get together during this time of year and talk golf. Obviously, we pivot, in August because it's a football world to football, especially after once the Tour Championship is over. But this has been a lot of fun, Andrew. We need to do another one of these in the future because I enjoyed this. Maybe we won't go back to back. That might have been a little bit much for all of us, but maybe we can do back to back nights or something. Because we ran Bud off. Bud was like, "Look, I'm tapping out, guys. You win." It's like the bet when Kramer comes in. 5 minutes, I'm out.
In his defense, I told him your show was probably going to be around an hour. So in his defense, it was my fault. We ran over. Quote,
I'll message Bud and say, "Look, bro. I know you haven't checked out the show very much because any show that I'm on that is under an hour, a miracle has truly occurred.
Yes.
You should see our DFS football shows. They're like 2
I forgot.
hours
We
long.
haven't had you on since last year, so I forgot.
Joe Bond's like losing his mind. He's like, "Your DFS podcast was 2 hours this week." I'm like, me and Joe like to talk. What can I say? But again, check out Divots and Pivots. Go follow Andrew. Go follow Bud. Go follow their YouTube page because I want to make sure with them starting that up. That is at Divots and Pivots 511. I'm gonna be sure to share that on my Twitter. And then give me and Ryan a follow on Twitter/X. I'm on Blue Sky, and download that ESPN 104.3 app.
Hell
you can
yeah.
do that and listen to me and Ryan
104.3
anywhere.
Yeah.
You can also listen to it on their YouTube channel, Facebook page, etc. Again, just look up ESPN 104.3. You'll be able to find it very easily. But for the three of us and Bud, who sadly, again, had to tap out because Keith wouldn't shut up, this has been the 2 Off the Tee Masters Edition. I hope everybody has a great week and all your DFS picks and betting plays are winners. We'll see you guys.
All right.